everybody. Welcome back to HitPoint. Welcome back to HitPoint, a JRPG news show, an anime news show, a niche news show, a show where Baku and I will talk about everything and anything that catches our interest or ire. We broadcast live every single Sunday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be previewing trailers, talking about rumors, having some discussions, and talking to the chat. At the end of the episode, we'll be responding to the super chats that we've received. But, buddy, how you been?
Doing pretty good. This is a 2-week streak that we are actually airing on Sunday. Which
every
is
single Sunday.
Pat on the back.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, sure,
Yes.
sure. Except for the Sundays that we don't broadcast live.
Yes. We're doing well. It's a 2-week streak. That's nice. School's back in session, and I am a little busy. Yeah. So yeah.
So that's something, where even though school is back in session, you're here. Even though it is a holiday weekend, evil never sleeps. I mean, YouTube never sleeps. Neither rain nor sleet nor snow.
Yep.
Yep. It is the RPG news continues, and the RPG show must go on.
Heck yeah.
Well, Baku, what have you been up to? Have you been playing anything cool this week?
Persona 5. Still playing Persona 5. We just cleared the 4th palace. I keep wanting to call it dungeon. It's not a dungeon. Except for the first palace.
But yeah. I mean, I
the
get
first
you.
palace had a literal dungeon.
That's true.
Now we're like 4 palaces in. It's feeling pretty good. We just recruited our newest Phantom Thieves, and now we're moving on to the next one. Cannot wait to see that happen.
Oh man.
Yeah, and everyone who comes in would be either Persona fans, or they would ask a very simple question of, are you playing Sea of Stars? Everybody. And I'm so happy to see that, like I get so excited when people ask about Sea of Stars. Like, even though I'm not playing Sea of Stars right now, right? First of all, I know a lot of our content creator friends, and also a lot of you are excited and playing Sea of Stars and loving that game. Absolutely blowing everyone's expectations.
It's funny you would mention that game, because that's actually what I was going to talk about when it was my turn to talk about what I've been playing.
Wow. It's a good lead-in, isn't it?
Oh,
I read your mind. I don't even know what Derek's going to talk about, by the way, everyone.
I know.
So, yeah, no, it's a good lead-in. But, yeah,
Because
it makes me happy that people come in to ask about it.
Such a conflicting world of emotions swirling about this game. The game is phenomenal. And
first and foremost, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's yeah. That's all I got to say about the game itself. I am going to be working on a full review. I decided after I got like 10 hours in, I'm like, yeah, I'm not stopping.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
That's right. This is I am playing through to the end, and I will be doing a full review. Probably a game collection review of this.
Yes.
Sorry, that's probably happening before my Yakuza 7 review comes out.
You're forgiven. I mean, Sea of Stars. It's fine. You're forgiven.
Ichigo might not forgive me, or Ichiban might not forgive me.
He's got other things to worry about if you've seen the trailer.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I've been very critical about big companies like Square Enix, who, whether or not the statement can be believed, we've talked about it, which is there is this leak from a certain financial analyst who joined one of these behind a closed door meeting, who claims, anyways, that if you do remember that they claim that Square Enix wants to just focus on AAA title from now on, and just like drop all the medium budget games, as they called it. Well, Sea of Stars is very much if not less than their so-called medium budget. A medium budget for Square Enix is very much within range, if not over what would have taken to develop a Sea of Star. And to say that those are not profitable, that no one wants it, clearly,
Yeah.
I think they should take a hard look
Get
at
wrecked.
reality.
Because look at
you
this.
know?
Look at this, Square Enix. This is an indie developer eating your lunch. And that is kind of what I was talking about when I said that I have such a conflicting world of emotions when I think about this game. Because this game is great.
Mm-hmm.
It is so good.
It is so. It looks so good,
and it makes me so angry at the same time that I had to wait 20 goddamn. No, that is not 20 goddamn.
No,
There we go.
It's too late now.
Yep. Well, okay. 20 years. I had to wait 20 years. Yep, I pushed the wrong censor button. That's okay. I had to wait 20 years to play this because Squaresoft and the other companies that like pride themselves on their ability to make RPGs just couldn't be arsed to make a game anywhere near this style, this good, and like in a long time.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre.
I know, and the weird thing is that it is an amalgamation of so many great pieces from different RPGs, and it's like when I think about like the kind of RPG I would want to make, I'd be like, oh, I'd take this element from this game and I'd take this element from that game. And I can kind of, while playing Sea of Stars, I can kind of trace back a whole lot of little like where the inspirations for these various things came from. And it's nice. It's a lot of fun.
It's not a love letter. It's a stack of love letters. You know? Yeah. So it's great. And I have that same feeling. The reason why I feel so good about it when people ask about it, it's like, wow, look at how much buzz is generating.
I know.
Like I'm playing Persona and people coming in like, did you play Sea of Stars? Like, hey, listen, first of all, I'm playing Persona right now. Second of all, not yet.
First of all, you're playing a different masterpiece. I mean, maybe, you know what? I shouldn't even make, I shouldn't allude to the fact that this might be a masterpiece. I don't know. It might be a little early because right now I've definitely got that full on new game effect. You know, that thing where everybody's hyped about it and I'm hyped about it and it's still fresh and it's just still new. I'm really close to it right now. Yeah. Being in the moment, playing this game right now, is so good.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's going to be a while before I play something that feels quite so good. I mean,
I guess whether or not it becomes like a timeless classic is yet to be seen, right? Like history will.
That's exactly kind of what
determine that. Yeah. But if I have to put any money on anything, and I'm not a gambling person, but if I have to put money on anything, I put money on this one. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. So that's all the fun stuff that I've been doing. Playing Persona 5 over at Twitch channel. Hello, come by and come see me play some Persona. Otherwise, school is kicking my butt. And you know, but it's I'm like halfway through the degree, so I just gotta suck it up and get through it. How about you, sir? What have you been up to?
Just Sea of Stars, man. I've also been working on my bike a little bit lately. It's kind of been this tragedy, this travesty of errors with my bike lately. Because it is one of those games. It is like a ship of Theseus. Like I'm just changing out little pieces here and there consistently, and like evolving it to eventually be. It is both like a mode of transportation and also like a sculpture that I'm working on. It is a great little bike, but man, this week and last week it's been giving me some trouble. The battery connector must have been making like half of a connection, causing a little bit of heat buildup in one of the battery terminals. So that ended up actually needing to be replaced because of the bad connection, and it was just something caused not the wire but the connector itself to melt a little bit. So I had to take that off, and I bypassed that for now. And then I was riding it with Amy yesterday morning, and I was on a little bike trail, and this right-angled piece of twig, like just went right in. It was like the size of a pencil, jammed right into the front of my tire. And so I do not have a functioning rear tire right now. So I need to get a replacement. It's been ordered, but man, it's been a lot, but it's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Labor of love.
Yeah,
it is.
Absolutely. Well,
you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
But I've ordered myself some tire armor from Tannis. So hopefully,
Tire armor.
Yeah, it goes between the tube and the tire itself. It's like thick foam that should do a pretty good job of preventing that in the future. But yeah, it was not fun moving my bike because it weighs over 100 pounds. I mean, when you think of a bike, I mean it's an e-bike. It's got pretty big battery, couple motors. You know, it's got a rear motor and a front tire motor, and it's heavy. It's very heavy. So when it goes flat,
it's very heavy.
You kind of have to carry it, otherwise you could damage the rims. And so
Yikes.
that was not a fun experience. Anyway, way off topic of the RPG stuff.
No, this is on topic.
Well, maybe.
Yes.
You know, if I talk about
things that we care about, right?
If I talk about my bike and show it off on the podcast, can I claim it as a business expense?
Yes. Well, I'm no accountant, but I'm going to say yes.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. No, I'm not going to show it off right now, though. But maybe some other time. But I did want to talk about some of the questions, or actually just mainly one of the questions that we got last week in the comments section from Rhine Time, who said, I've got a question I was hoping you guys might cover if you get a chance. Hey.
Okay.
All right. So, any reason to buy Star Ocean 2 or other remasters on PlayStation 5? I prefer to buy retro stuff on Switch if the general performance like load times, resolutions, frame rate, etc. won't suffer. I feel like I'd have enjoyed Crisis Core a little more on PlayStation 5 as the game is currently like 60% loading times between missions on the Switch. They say the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 remasters ran great on Switch, but sounds like the upcoming Metal Gear Solid collection would be better played on any other platform. I know I kind of answered my own question at that with those last two titles, but I'd appreciate any insight you have on the upcoming remakes. And yeah, I think you kind of, may have already sort of answered your question a little bit. But there's really, I think, another consideration, at least personally, that I would like to bring up, and that is the portability of being able to play on Switch. How do you enjoy playing games? Do you enjoy playing them from your bed? On a couch,
on the go,
in a car,
on trips,
road trips, commuting on buses and stuff. I think that just really opens up a lot of opportunities on Switch, but. That's one of the things that I really would consider, especially when it comes to like retro versus remake. Like generally, I try to play for myself as much on Switch as possible, unless it's going to be an inferior experience. I guess kind of the opposite of that was Trails from Zero, Trails to Azure, which actually had a better experience on Switch or PC than on PS5. So, I guess as long as it runs well, I would say Switch is probably my way I would recommend going. And especially for retro. But what do you think, Baku?
Yeah, probably the Switch. Honestly, especially with the rumor of a Switch 2 coming out and potentially being able to have backwards compatibility. I mean, that's something that I would definitely consider. Don't take that as news item. Okay, that's just rumors that's been flying out there. But I don't see why they wouldn't try to have it backwards.
I think I've already established that on this show we're referring to that as the Super Nintendo Switch.
Oh, the Super Nintendo Switch.
Yep. That is our official stance. Make it happen, Nintendo.
Super Nintendo Switch.
Gotta be the Super Nintendo Switch.
It has to be.
please.
No other names will be accepted.
The new Super Nintendo Switch U.
The new Switch U. The Switch Boy. The Super Switch Boy. Can we add the boy back? Kind of like that. Yeah.
I would be okay with that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think at this point, maybe you wouldn't want to do that because that might alienate like half your audience.
Okay. No, the Switch Child. Is that okay? No?
Switch Kid.
Switch Kid. Yes.
Yeah.
Switch Kid.
Yeah. It's like being a 90s kid.
Yes. What's crazy is that the peak of Switch sales basically happened during the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one of the most useful part of the Switch is actually just coming back now that it's becoming more of an endemic situation, and that is like air travel. Being on a plane for hours. You're gonna want to Switch with you, or some kind of handheld game. Like I cannot do games on the road because of the way that the peripheral vision works, and it just makes it makes me dizzy, right? But on a plane, that's a different story. Like
that's a really good point you raised.
I have that problem.
I'm probably gonna need to take my Nintendo Switch on the road with me because I guess I wasn't planning on talking about this, but in November, there is going to be a week I'm going to have to not be on HitPoint. So we'll probably just not have a show that week. But I'm going to be going out to Seattle.
Wow, Seattle.
Yeah, it's going to be work related, but when I'm there, I'm going to try to meet up with some friends and stuff. So
is that going to be towards the beginning of November or towards the end of November?
Like kind of the middle-ish.
Okay, yeah, we're probably not going to have a show for the entire November because guess who's gone for the first 2 weeks of November?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then you're in the middle of November, and then the end of November is Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're not going to have a show for November. We'll take a month off. We'll see you guys in December.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
yeah,
man, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
hope
it'll
nothing happens in that whole month. But if it does, maybe I'll make videos to keep you guys up to date with kind of like the JRPG weekly update was back in the day.
Yes,
just for old times' sake, maybe.
Just for old times' sake.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the
question. Oh no. Question of the week.
There you go. I was like, what were you going for there?
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. I kind of went all robotic there for a moment.
Okay.
So
question of the week.
Yeah, question of the week. Last week, Baku and I were talking about a lot of Super Nintendo RPGs and games that just kind of we were most excited to replay. And I asked you guys about the same thing, and we got a lot of overlapping questions. So I actually decided to go ahead and rank those based off of the times games were mentioned and the responses, and kind of come up with like a little ranking system. And I wanted to try a little game show, if you will, with Baku here. Baku-san JRPG, welcome to the first ever question of the week game show. You are our first and only contestant, and the rules of the game are simple. You're going to try and guess the games that are on this list. So we have a total of 4 games that made the list because we have a tie for third place.
Okay.
But I want you to go ahead and just start guessing games, and I'm guessing that you'll probably get at least a few of these. I want to see if you can guess all of them, though. I mean, you might not get all of them, but you can try. I haven't thought this game show through very well, but we can try this out as we go. So, all right, contestant number 1. Go ahead and make your first guess about any game that might be on this list, and if it is, I'll tell you what place it got.
So there are 4, right?
Yeah,
and they're all Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And they're games that people want to replay.
That they want to replay. And I will also mention we did open this up for all video games on the console, but we only got responses that were action RPGs and turn-based RPGs. So that should narrow things down a little bit for you.
Super Nintendo. Chrono Trigger, hands down.
Hey, all right.
That's my number one.
There you go. There you go. Chrono Trigger. You got the gold. You guessed that one. I feel like that's the easiest one to guess.
That's probably the easiest one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the biggest winner.
Wow. Okay.
So that's the easy question.
What did I win?
You won another guess. You can now proceed to the next round. See if you can guess one of the remaining 3 on this list.
I want to say Terranigma.
Hey, you got another one. That was one of the ones that tied for bronze.
Oh, wow, that's surprising.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That got a
Okay. So, I figured people want to replay that more because they've never released like any kind of HD version of it. Like you can only play the original Super Nintendo.
Yeah. And I think that it also is held back a little bit, like from probably getting more votes because it also never came out in the West. So a lot of people who didn't, play it back in the day don't have a whole lot of nostalgia for it, right?
Oh yeah.
But
I totally understand.
But the ones who do, oh yeah. All right. So these next 2 are I'm going to say they're not at all what I would have expected to be on here. So okay. I'm guessing that these next 2 are going to be a little bit harder to
harder.
Yeah. What do you think?
Okay, but they're all RPG. So I will
tell you that the remainder are action RPGs.
They're action RPGs.
Sorry. One action and one turn-based.
One action, one turn-based. Something Evermore. That one. I forgot. What is it called?
Yeah. Secret of Evermore.
I get it?
That was the
Shut up.
That was also the tie for bronze with Terranigma.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
One that's interesting. One that never came out to the West and one that was exclusive
to the West. Exactly.
Oh,
isn't that weird? But yeah, it amazes me how many people have a lot of nostalgia for Secret of Evermore. They really come out of the woodwork. It's
wow.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get this last one. I've gotten more than I thought I would, but already I think this is where I'm gonna finally turn-based for Super Nintendo. Turn-based.
Yep.
Turn-based. I don't think it's gonna be a Final Fantasy game because we've got the Pixel remaster and all that. I just don't think it's Final Fantasy. What other turn-based that's well known on Super Nintendo? I don't think it's DQ. And, I think this is one of those times where people will come out and throw some man, that's tough.
It is. It's a tough one.
What other turn-based game were even there? Okay, is it a tactical turn-based?
No.
Or is it? It's not tactical turn-based.
Yeah, I would have mentioned if it was tactical or strategy RPG. Besides, there's only one of those on the Super Nintendo.
No, there were a few. I mean, Tactics Ogre was on there.
In the West.
Fire Emblem, no? There no Super Nintendo Fire Emblem for the West?
Not for the West.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. I actually did not know that.
Yeah, Tactics Ogre was the only one. Let Us Cling Together.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was Let Us Cling Together, right? Or was it March of the Black Queen? Or March of the Black Queen, I think, was the...
What happened to Ogre Battle?
That's the one. Okay.
Oh, is Ogre Battle the one that was in the West? Okay,
yeah.
You know what?
Yeah. I get those confused. But anyways, yeah, it's not one of them.
Oh, Mario RPG.
Unfortunately not.
No. Okay. What was it? What was the last one?
So Silver Place was actually it was Breath of Fire 2.
Breath of Fire.
Hey, but that's all right. You did really well I mean,
Yeah.
3 out of the 4 guesses. I expected you to get Chrono Trigger, and that's about it. Maybe Terranigma.
I expected myself to get 1.
You done good. All right. Well,
Oh,
thank you
mhm.
so much for being part of today's game show, Baku. I'll send you your winnings after
My
the show.
winnings.
We'll probably bring you on for a follow-up game show episode sometime in the future.
Yes. Thank you. It was a pleasure being on here today.
Uh, okay, but actually, so I thought that was super interesting. That was the games that came up the most. But
Wow.
I know,
Okay.
pretty wild. But hey,
Yeah.
Baku, what were your top 3? I know you already pretty much had a list laid out in advance of like games that you wanted to replay on Super Nintendo, but
Yeah.
as is tradition, I thought we'd throw in our 2 cents.
Yeah. Well, I agree with Terranigma and I agree with Chrono Trigger already. So that's already 2 out of the 3. And I want to say that the third one that I want to replay from like the Super Nintendo era probably be actually I would probably want to replay Fire Emblem now. The genealogy of war, I think it's like genealogy. I can never pronounce that word, but it's like the first Fire Emblem that I'd ever played
Oh,
on Super Nintendo. And the reason why I say that is because like Final Fantasy, they're like pixel remasters, all these other versions. So I played those already. So
Yeah.
I'm not like itching to replay them again. A lot of these games like Tactics Ogre, like I've got a brand new fully voiced remake on PS4 and I haven't really touched it yet. It's one of my favorite games, but do I really want to replay the Super Nintendo version? Probably not.
yeah. It's
So
kind
in
of hard.
thinking,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, in thinking about this, I'm not telling you my favorite Super Nintendo games. I'm
No.
telling you, yeah, which of the ones that I would play like the Super Nintendo version of and actually want to play that.
Yeah. Which is one of the
And
reasons
yeah.
when I did my top 10 RPGs I wanted to replay for turn-based, I mentioned Super Mario RPG as like, yeah, that's like number 8 or so because I played it pretty recently, and the news of the HD remake that they're doing,
Yeah.
I mean, has me more hyped to play that version. So
Right.
so Super Mario RPG on Super Nintendo, a little low on my list that I want to replay at this moment.
Yeah, I think this list would have been a little easier years ago when
yeah.
these games weren't available on, like, say, Steam and all kinds of different platforms. But now that it is, like, okay, which one of these would you actually play the Super Nintendo version of? Because newsflash for some folks, Tactics Ogre on Super Nintendo is not the same as the PSP version, and it's not the same as the PS4 version. It's like there's a major overhauls in between each version, even though it's the same story, right?
Yeah.
So we're really talking about which version am I playing now. And I don't think I want to go back and play the Super Nintendo version of that game, to be very honest. But yeah, Terranigma, like I said, there's no choice. That's the only time that game has ever existed and has never come out on any other console since. Square,
I know.
you're
they
listening.
Really need to get on that. No, I have a similar list, to what was actually already mentioned, because Terranigma is at the top of my top 10 action RPGs I wanted to replay.
Yes.
Breath of Fire 2 was at the
Ooh.
top of my, specifically the fan retranslation patch is at the top of my want to replay list for turn-based RPGs. And aside from that, Lufia 2 is a game that I still have not played, but I've heard such good things about that I'm pretty hyped to give it a shot. So that's my 3 that are just at the top of the I gotta play it list,
Gotcha. Wow, that's a good list.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So thank you everybody for participating last week. It was a lot of fun. Now this week's question of the week, I think I wanted to kind of go ahead and just lay it out early, but it's going to be about Tokyo Game Show this year, and it's just a simple, what are your predictions this year? That's what I want to find out from y'all. I think this is going to be a pretty good year. Last year Last year was nuts at TGS.
I was extremely busy last year.
Yeah.
Extremely busy. Well, I wrote our script for like 18 hours. It took 18 hours.
Yeah, I
last
remember.
year.
It was a lot. So, I already feel bad for you, Baku, because with this on the horizon, I can only imagine the craziness.
It's gonna be extremely busy.
But
yeah.
Let's we'll talk more about TGS here in a little bit. But for now, let's go ahead and start talking about the next section of the show.
Yes.
I'm making you be the bearer of bad news.
I'm the bearer of bad news?
Yep, that's you, man.
Okay. Ooh, all right. Here we go. Let's talk about delays. Wow. Do you have the sound effect for that?
I got rid of my sound effect board, sadly.
Konami announced that the HD remaster Suikoden 1 and 2 will not be released in 2023 after all. So sad. Statement from Konami. Here it is. We would like to thank Suikoden fans everywhere for your ongoing passion and support for the Suikoden series. Regarding the planned release of Suikoden 1 and 2 Remaster, Gate Rune and Dunan Reunification Wars. I actually didn't know that's the full title. We have reached the conclusion that despite the very best efforts of our dedicated development staff to release the remasters in 2023, additional time is needed to ensure the quality performance and gameplay experience our users deserve. The entire Suikoden team is renewing our efforts to bring Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster to release as soon as possible. We will share their release information as soon as it becomes available on our official social media accounts and official homepage. We appreciate your understanding and sincerely hope you will continue to lend Suikoden your support. So there you go. That's the official long-winded corporate statement that basically says, yeah, we need more time.
Hey, you know what?
Hey.
I have a surprise for you, Baku. I've got a surprise clip I wanted to play.
A surprise clips. Okay.
Yeah. See if nope, that's not gonna work. Okay. Nope. Hang on. Nope. Not okay. Let's switch over to here. They're going to delay the release of the HD Suikoden remasters for better coinciding with the new release date of Eiyuden Chronicle.
I don't know, but
who could have possibly have foreseen this? Who could have happened to see this coming?
They're delaying it, but they don't have a released window right now.
Not yet.
So not yet. As soon as Eiyuden gives a firm date, they're gonna. Is that what your guess is? They're leaving it open. They're already done with the game. They're just leaving it open.
I think that's it. So some people have hypothesized, and I think initially I was one of them. If I continue to play that episode from August 7, so just about a month ago to the date, if I was to play that a little bit longer, I think I went on to say something like, there's basically two main reasons that they might do that. And the first is nefarious, if they're trying to kind of kneecap Eiyuden Chronicle, if they see it as competition. I've since come to not the conclusion, but there's the other second possibility, and I think it is probably more likely, and that is they're probably just trying to capitalize on the hype of Eiyuden Chronicle at its release, because a rising tide, it raises all ships.
Yeah.
Somebody who's buying Eiyuden Chronicle isn't like going to like decide, am I going to get Suikoden or Eiyuden Chronicle?
Yeah.
I could only buy one. They're not doing that. Nobody is doing that. They're either buying both because they want them both, or they're only buying Eiyuden Chronicle because they're angry at Konami for their previous transgressions. And I totally understand that. But so that's kind of just where I am at this moment is I kind of thought that might have been coming. And now that was only the first part of my prediction that's come to fruition. We shall find out later if that happens to also get delayed until what was it, Q2 of 2024? You know,
Whatever Auden says that they're releasing, just wait for Auden to give a firm date. Right. And then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks later, Konami's like, oh, by the way, oh, what a coincidence. We're releasing the game right. Just 1 day before the Auden Chronicles. Not planned at all. It's just that's when we can get it together.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. What a coinky dink.
What a coinky dink. Yeah. Okay. And to be clear, I didn't think that Konami wants to kneecap Auden Chronicles, because I just don't think that. I mean, if they try to, just wouldn't work well for them, because like you said. But are they trying to capitalize on this so that they can sell more Suikoden? Possibly. That I believe.
Yeah.
So
I think you would want to aim for that window, like right around then. You know, I think if I was Konami, I would also probably want to try to coordinate that. Not because nobody, like I said, nobody's gonna choose between the two. Like you're either buying one or the other or both. It's like it's not gonna be like, oh, I have to buy Suikoden. Sorry, Auden. Nobody said nobody ever. So yeah,
I can only play one of these. Have you seen our backlogs?
I know.
If that's ever a decision point for us, our backlog wouldn't look like this.
Oh man,
I can only play this one game, this one period. I'm only going to buy one of these.
But you know what? It's fine. Like I said, we have huge backlogs. Like you said, we have huge backlogs, and I don't think that. Honestly, I'm probably gonna pick it up, but I don't even know when I'll play it. Suikoden 1 and 2.
It's digital only, so I'm not gonna pick it up.
Oh,
I have no. See that there you go. That's the thing about physical versus digital. If company ever cares about whether or not they ever want to do like physical versus digital, here's the thing: digital is always available. I have no real incentive. You can throw your time limited DLCs, you can do all your pre-order bonus all you want, okay? But when it comes down to it, the only thing that drives me to buy something early is if you tell me the physical version there's a limited quantity and I have to get it now or never, then I will get it. Okay. Otherwise, no, I don't care. Digital, it's always available. I'll get it when I get to it,
Pretty much. Yeah. And that's kind of like the biggest selling factor for me too when it comes to games that are coming out, is like, will it be able to sit on my shelf? If yes, I'll buy it. If not,
will it look pretty on my shelf? Because if it doesn't.
Exactly. I buy my video games the way you buy your figures.
I mean, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, so that about does it for the delays, luckily. But we got some updates to some previous releases that we can talk about.
Yes.
I was gonna start with this one here for Final Fantasy 16.
Yes.
A couple of updates related to it. So we'll just lump them all in kind of together right now. So first of all, a free update was released yesterday that gave 5 characters new costumes, as well as new weapon skins for Clive.
Yes.
Also, Yoshi P stated, or rather teased at PAX West 2023 panel, that there will be 2 paid DLCs coming out for Final Fantasy 16, as well as the much anticipated PC port, all of which are currently in development.
Yes. So, I think a lot of people are waiting for that PC port because they just don't want to, they just really don't want to deal with PlayStation 5, either that or they would have a super beefy PC, they're the PC master race. And like, this game will look so much better with my 4090, like RTX 4090. I'm not getting into that PlayStation 5. I'm going to wait until it comes out on PC. That's coming.
Yeah. And then finally, but not strictly an update to 16 itself, but Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line will be getting a Final Fantasy 16 songs as part of an 11-track DLC coming out on November 1st. It's going to cost you about $6 if you want it.
Yeah, no big deal. I actually just picked up the game myself recently because it was on discount. Yeah, I just picked it up. Actually, right here.
I was gonna say physical. Nice.
Yeah, it's I just grabbed it. Yeah, and it's for the Switch. I got it for the Switch because guess what I'm gonna do on the plane?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be playing this on a plane. It's fun. Rhythm games is actually pretty relaxing. You listen to music and you're engaged and you're playing a game as you're just waiting out like that plane ride. So
Yeah.
highly recommend rhythm games. Try rhythm games on,
mean,
on a long plane ride, on a
and-
long car ride.
11-track DLC. It's like 50 cents a song, which is cheaper than just buying an album sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
It's not a big ask. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. We've got more DLCs coming, and this time it's for the maybe a sleeper hit. I don't know if I want to call this a sleeper hit, but it's the Master Detective Archives Raincode from Spike Chunsoft, the creators of Danganronpa, of course, with this
that
very
one.
similar art style, but this time, it's a different game. It's got a little bit of RPG element thrown in. It's kind of cool. Everyone who's played it has told me that this game and all the plot twists and turns is crazy, and they're urging me to play it. So I'm like, fine, I'll get to that one point. But I'll probably get to it after all these DLCs come out. So there is a DLC that came out a couple of days ago called Chapter Fubuki's Luckiest Day. We've got another one coming out in September 28th, so later this month, called Chapter Halara, Raining Cats and Dogs. And then finally, the fourth and the last DLC will be coming out in October. So there are actually 4 DLCs in total. One came out a while back, 2 that we're talking about right now, and the last final one that they haven't announced exactly what it is yet, but that's coming out in October. So those are the extra chapters that you can purchase as DLCs. So yeah, I'll probably get to this game once they're all done with releasing all the DLC. This game looks really good, so
Yeah.
give it a shot.
All right, so that does it for for updates and DLC. So as far as games that are coming out this week, we've pretty much just got the one. It's an indie RPG, an indie tactical RPG. Tactics fans eating good this year, continuing with Crimson Tactics, not to be confused with Crimson Echoes or Chained Echoes or anything like that. Happens to me all the time. Crimson Tactics.
Crimson Tactics.
The Rise of the White Banner. This is not a new release per se, but Crimson Tactics Rise of the White Banner is set to leave Steam's early access on the 5th of this week with enhanced content and features. The game has only entered early access for a little over a month ago in late July, though, so it's still kind of newish. So yeah, it's just a full release as opposed to kind of the half start that we already got. And we have a trailer for it as well, if you would like to take a gander at this.
So we're gonna look at.
Oh, all right, trailer.
Yes,
Let's check it out.
I'm like, we're looking. Ooh,
It's just kind of funny because
really loud. Hold
Yeah.
on, let me turn down the music.
it's just kind of funny because I was like, yeah, we have a trailer if you want to watch it, and you just go like,
What if I don't want to watch the trailer this time?
like you're really debating it. And this one still it gives me strong like vibes of that Suikoden tactics. I think I mentioned it last time we watched this. Something about the
Yes.
visual style, like the outlines I think on the characters and the
Their body proportion, maybe? Is that anything to do with it?
probably a little
Yeah.
bit of that too. Yeah. It's like where it's not chibi, but it's also not like realistic proportions. Yeah, Suikoden
little-
Tactics does that too. I dig it though. I like it.
This game looks phenomenal.
I mean,
And was
it ain't no
only-
Sea of Stars, but
Yeah. I mean, this game was in. Okay, that's not many games are like
I
Sea of
know.
Stars. So, if that's the new standard, then a lot of games are going to fail.
I
like
know.
inevitably.
I cannot help but like have that in the back of my mind.
I mean, but this has really nice animation. I think this is one of those like 3D model on 2D plane situations.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and it's doing really good things here. So yeah, that is out of early access, and you can play it now on Steam.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because this game was only in like early access, like in July. Like, wow.
Kind of makes, I mean, like weird, like it is like a little stepping stone
It's like,
for
did you
a release.
really need to
I
do
know.
early access?
Maybe they just needed funding for like one additional month of development or something to really just finish it.
Yeah, it could be.
When
It looks great.
Indie
so.
projects, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like really close to already being done, and then yeah, it makes sense. All right. Well, we also have some games, new announcements regarding games. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of those.
Okay, so we've got another game leaving early access. This time it is the narrative wartime RPG called Long Gone Days. Long Gone Days. I had to say it twice. Which first entered early access back in March of 2018. So talking about a game that's been in early access for a while, but finally leaving. So yay for them.
Yeah.
Now, in addition to leaving Steam Early Access, Serenity Forge, who's actually publishing this game, will be bringing this game to consoles, which is pretty cool. In this game, you play as Roke. I hope I pronounce Rock.
I think it's
just
Rourke.
one syllable.
Yeah.
A long name.
Yeah.
Well, Rogue here, who was chosen from birth to be a sniper as a child of the core. This game would take players through a journey that is laced with real-world complexities, including an intricate web of language barriers. So kind of cool. We've got a trailer, right? And
Yeah.
I think we should watch it. I think we should. I think we should watch it.
Yeah, let's give this a gander here.
Who would ever question about watching trailers? Not this guy. Serenity Forge is just killing it.
They have really been doing some good stuff lately.
Yeah, they bring all these like cool like indies to the mass market. I've got a little respect for that.
Well, and I thought that these guys were like new guys on the block, but turns out Serenity Forge is actually kind of a rebranded indie box, if you're familiar.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Indie box was a while ago. They did like the indie RPG or indie games that you could get for Steam, but they would give you it on like a physical release with like a USB stick for the install media. It was really cool. It was an awesome concept, but then they disappeared for a while. I thought, or I couldn't find them. I guess it's because they rebranded to Serenity Forge, and they've been doing some really cool stuff.
They've been releasing some really cool games that otherwise would not garner as much attention, I think. Yeah. So yeah, this game looks really cool. Again, this one is coming out in October 10th this year, releasing on PS4, 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS, Switch, and of course Steam. So PC. So leaving early access. So you can already play on Steam on early access, but if you want to get on console, Serenity Force got you covered. So we'll look forward to seeing that game release in full in about a month's time.
Well, we got some good news also today, because after a long wait, Forever Entertainment, after what feels like forever,
But
have announced a firm release date for Front Mission 2's remake, and they gave us a new trailer focusing on the the combat and the gameplay of that game as well. So let's take a gander of that as well here. That is the Switch release, by the way, of course.
Yeah.
Wait, that one has a baseball bat? It's Ichiban.
I actually want to play this game, but I'm not happy about their physical release situation.
What is the physical release situation?
It's almost non-existent. Yeah, Square Enix is deferring to a smaller studio to do the remake, which is fine. But Square Enix is also deferring to yet another publisher to publish their own game. So I'm just like, well, then what are you even here for, Square Enix? Like,
what would you say you do here?
I own the IP.
I mean, that is kind of what Enix did back in the day is they would just own the IP and then they would publish things that they like would hire out other people to make. Right?
Now they're deferring to other people to publish the game too. So they're simply funding the game and holding the IP.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I guess if the alternative is they just sit on the IP and do nothing, then I guess this might be preferable. But
choosing between the lesser of two evils kind of situation. Am I right?
yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
So you can expect to play this game on the 5th of October, only on the Nintendo Switch.
Only. All right. And then we've got another game coming up. It's called Koumajou Remilia 2 Stranger's Requiem. It's a mouthful. In
I was going to say, I gave you the hard to pronounce one.
CK has announced that they will be releasing their second Toho Metroidvania game called Koumajou Remilia 2 Stranger's Requiem. Why did they have to name this?
It's you forgot the 2. So it's Koumajou Remilia 2 Strangers
2
Requiem
for the Switch and PC via Steam this time. Now, while their first game, Scarlet Symphony, see, so much easier. Scarlet Symphony starred the Toho series protagonist Reimu. This sequel will star Sakuya as she goes on a journey to find her fellow Scarlet Devil Mansion inhabitants, and we've got a trailer for that.
Yeah. All right, let's check this out.
Yes, check that out.
Oh, is Koumajou? Is that
Koumajou is the Devil's Mansion. Yeah.
Mansion, yep.
Yeah, Scarlet Devil Mansion. Yeah, so
Scarlet
this
Devil
is the this is the what does it call it? This is the Metroidvania. They even got like the Castlevania kind of like art style with the Toho characters.
Yeah.
Now this game is already available. It's been available for a long time. It's just that this is finally coming to Steam, and maybe more importantly, officially coming to the West.
Oh, that's cool, man. It looks really good. That art is beautiful.
Yeah. And they retain all the voice actors from their original release. Yeah, they released the first game on Steam, and it was met with such like positive like praises that they are like, you know what, let's release the second one too, because why wouldn't we? So that game is coming out in December 14th of this year, again on the Switch and PC.
All right. Well, Success Corporation has announced their new twin-stick roguelike shooter called Heaven Seeker, the savior of this cruel world.
Yes.
Players can choose from one of many adventurers to search for treasures in the Sky Castle dungeon where rooms are randomly generated. And we've got a trailer for it as well.
Yes.
Ah.
Many indie games this week.
At least they're all kind of like relatively short, I think.
Yeah. This is kind of like Enter the Gungeon kind of situation, probably.
Yeah, twin stick shooters are kind of interesting to me. I've never really been huge into them, but the concept always kind of...
Not just twin stick, but twin stick and roguelite.
Yeah.
With items. This is basically Enter the Gungeon.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Enter the Gungeon did really well.
Oh, yeah. And see why people want to take that formula and try to like add their own spin to it. You know, add anime girls.
Yeah.
How else are you going to sell more? It's like, well, if Enter the Gungeon did well, let's add anime girls to that and sell even more copies. I laugh, but you know it's true.
Oh, it's absolutely true. If I had seen one of those characters, I definitely would have put them in the thumbnail.
Mm-hmm. We're not above that.
You can expect to play this game on September 21st for PC via Steam.
Yeah, all those Enter the Gungeon fans. And if you want an enemy waifus to it, but you were too lazy to mod it yourself, well.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
They've modded it for you. All right. more anime girl news. Wait, what?
Yay!
Yay! What? Acquire announced that they will be releasing their second self-published game, a roguelike action dungeon crawler titled Ancient Weapon Holly. End quote. We believe a powerful, autonomous weapon in the form of a human-hating young girl offers a completely fresh approach to dungeon crawlers that action gamers will enjoy, said Acquire president Takuma Endo in a press release. In other words, yeah, dungeon crawlers exist. You know what would make it fresh again? Adding an anime girl to it.
You know what? I agree. Let's check out the trailer. I like the cut of this man's jib.
He's the president for a reason, man. He's got the foresight. And actually, this game looks really good. Jokes aside. I can't do dungeon crawlers, but for people who enjoy dungeon crawler, I think this actually looks really good.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm personally not a fan of first-person dungeon crawlers. This looks like maybe something I could maybe get into. Look,
yeah, I can deal with third-person dungeon crawler a lot better than first-person.
Yeah.
Yeah. This game looks like it's going to be like a fairly hard game. Dungeon crawlers tend to be pretty unforgiving.
Yeah.
Like you have to really count your items and count your steps. I think this is one of those. There you go.
All right.
This is called Ancient Weapon Holly. Now, there's no firm date for this one, but it is expected to be released in 2024 on PS5 and PC via Steam.
Interesting. You would think that would run well on a Switch, but
Or PS4 for that matter, but
Yeah.
that's what they said.
okay. They're going for a niche audience within their niche audience. That's admirable. Next up, publisher Panic announced a new turn-based RPG called Arco that they are calling the simultaneous turn-based combat system. Players will play as 4 unlikely heroes in their vendetta against the Red Company Gang.
The Red Company Gang.
So simultaneous turn-based combat seems...
Oh, I think you should really take a look at this one. This one looks really interesting. Art style and everything.
Yeah.
You want pixel art. This is pixel art.
Yeah. A little bit of that like low-res pixel art, kind of reminiscent, I think, of like older PC games, but with a much larger palette.
Yeah. It almost feels like those games that we play like in class in elementary school, you know what I'm talking about? On like the floppy disk.
Exactly. Like the IBM almost like the CGA graphics, except they have way...
There you go. This is the simultaneous turn, so-called simultaneous turn-based.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, don't at me about the whole turn-based language, okay? Like they called it simultaneous turn-based, folks. Don't at me.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of like if you took the VATS system from Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas and then applied it to retro style RPG.
Are they riding a llama? Yes. It's either a llama or what's that other animal called?
Alpaca?
Yes, it's either a llama or alpaca, one of those. It's kind of cute. Yeah, I would imagine it takes place in some kind of a either real or imaginary Latin America, I would imagine. Yeah, based on the aesthetics and what have you. So looks really cool.
Hey, you want to ride a llama? I ain't got no drama with that. I'm not.
Oh, an alpaca.
I'm no llama drama.
But remember Winamp?
Yeah.
All those llama jokes.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh, what did you not select yourself to go over this one? This was for you.
Oh,
Mr. Derek.
was that for me?
You know what? It's fine. I'll read it to you. So,
Tell me a story.
Developer Startsea Games is working on a new 2D horror turn-based RPG.
Oh!
Derek's favorite. Yeah.
Actually,
horror.
turn-based. Okay.
Yeah.
You have my
yeah.
attention.
Yeah. It's called the Hymn to the Earless God. Players will explore an alien world called Gloom, which is almost entirely inhabited by sociopathic insectoid creatures. Sounds kind of creepy and gross already, but let's take a look at the trailer and see how you feel about it.
All right.
Let's see if this is one that Derek approves of.
Is this my Spooptober play of the year?
Here, we'll watch this first. We'll talk about that.
I mean, pixel art. Oh, creators of pulsating mass. Look at that.
Yeah. Doesn't it look good? I love the art.
Yeah.
The guy just gets slapped in the face. And 4 characters, 4 stories. 35 optional mercenaries. So what? Hold on. Is this so? This is gonna be like
Like an
oh my God.
anthology.
No, I was thinking maybe this could be like a Suikoden kind of deal.
Oh, I was thinking it would be kind of like
Oh, no, not Suikoden.
Live
Chrono
Alive.
Cross.
I was thinking Live Alive.
Live Alive.
Yeah. You ever play Live Alive?
I have not played Live Alive yet. I have the game. I haven't had a time to play it yet.
Oh, well, you
but
should. It's really
I
great.
should. I have it. No, I was thinking it's Chrono Cross because like, so they're like, oh, there are 4 main characters with 4 stories, but then there are 35 like, you know, mercenaries with like their own little stories. So I was just like, oh, there's so many more characters than you can ever use in your party.
See,
and they all have their little stories. Like, that sounds like a Chrono Cross kind of deal.
maybe a
Yeah.
little bit of both. Live Alive, since I mentioned it, is a game that has 8 protagonists, which each have their own story. And it's not like you play as all 8 at the same time. It's like it's an anthology. Like, you know, you play it through 8 different stories, each with a different protagonist. So I don't know if that's what Hymn of the Earless God is or not, but I mean, that would be pretty sick. So
yeah, no, that I mean, either ways is pretty cool. So
Definitely.
speaking of whether or not this game will be your what is it, the horror game, Spooptober game of the year. Well, here's the thing. This game is currently on Kickstarter and is years away from release.
Okay.
That's why I was chuckling when you're like, is this gonna be the game for my Spooptober of the year? It's like, yeah,
guess I'm
maybe
gonna have
in, like,
to keep looking.
2026, sure.
Yeah.
But hey, if that game looks interesting to you, we will be listing their Kickstarter, which they only have like 200 backers right now. I don't think they're getting enough traction. So yeah, if you're interested in that, the Kickstarter, we'll leave it in the description actually right now, right? It's already in there.
Yeah.
We
Tell
did
you what,
description early.
Can we make a note to revisit this one in October as well, just to kind of shed a little more light on it around Spooptober time?
Can I just find you a Spooktober game?
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I'm not probably gonna play it, but yeah.
Well,
I never.
I never. Yeah, we'll come back and revisit this.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it for updates too, because this looks interesting. I love the art style, and honestly, it looks, even though it is they say horror, looks like the kind of thing that could be up my alley.
That might be like a Eldritch kind of like what is it, like
a
Cthulhu kind of deal. Yeah, could be.
I dig it.
Yeah.
So that about does it for the games that we got new announcements for, but we do have a bit of industry news that we'd like to talk a little bit about, and I made Baku be the bearer of bad news earlier, but it's my turn to bear some bad news for us all.
No.
And this one's gonna hurt a little bit more because I feel like there's a few people out there, a few more people who are probably particularly invested in the Baten Kaitos series. So yeah, guys remember Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 remaster was getting remade, and everyone's really excited about it. I was really excited about it. I still am. But English-speaking fans who are looking forward to the remaster might be disappointed to find out that the remaster will not be featuring an English dub. I mean, I know a lot of people here probably prefer a Japanese dub anyway, but I mean, there's a subset of people who also still just like to be able to listen and stuff. So English dubs are nice. And in an interview with Nintendo Everything, the game's producer Koji Nakajima explained why this decision was made. He says, in developing the remastered version, we tried to make adjustments on some of the expressions to match the current era. Basically, just kind of, modernizing some of the speech. Let's see. That's why we made the difficult decision not to use English voiceover for this remastered version due to the discrepancies that will happen. So basically, they're changing the Japanese text, and they don't want to make the effort to like recast and revoice and localize all of the stuff into English again, I guess.
I think part of it has to do with like matching the animation too, right? Like it's like, yeah, we're just gonna stick to Japanese and not deal with the English.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, could be.
In addition,
a little bitty.
in addition to Japanese audio only, the game is also only going to run at 30 frames per second. But it will have other quality of life options, such as auto battle, skip encounters, auto save, and the ability to skip cutscenes.
Which is very important.
Yeah. I think skipping cutscenes is kind of like, it's the bare minimum. 30 frames is also, I think, the bare minimum.
Well, see, it's 30 frames if it runs constant. If it doesn't dip below 30.
Let's say it's probably gonna target 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't like to be the bearer of that kind of news, but it do be that way this time.
Yep. Okay. And then the last piece of news that we have for the evening concerns basically the question of the week, which is Tokyo Game Show 2023, which is kind of right around the corner, which is what I wrote. But although now that I think about it, it's actually like a month away.
it's around the corner. It's
it's a long block. It's like a long New York block, right? It's around that corner. Now TGS this year runs from the 21st to the 24th. Many, and I mean many, major developers and publishers like Square Enix, Capcom, and Konami already announced their lineup, and you can freely read what those lineup is with like the shows and the time slots and how you can watch those things. With many, many more indie studios bringing their latest games to their respective booths. TGS is basically what E3 wants to be when it grows up.
I mean, E3 is dead now, isn't it? Is E3 gone for good now?
Well, darn. Is it? Is it probably dead for good?
I think it might be, but
yeah.
So if it ever grows up, that's
So I think this is pretty cool. And we're going to be spending a lot of time going through it. Last year was 18 hours, and I remember that number very well. And the 18 hours is mostly just watching the things, rewatching the things, getting all the numbers right, and then editing it.
Yeah. I remember. Did that even include like the 4-hour episode of HitPoint that like followed that?
Was that I think that was for the 4-hour episode. There was that much stuff going on last year.
It was, I was gonna say, it was huge. It was a big old episode. So
prepare for another one of those potentially. We'll see. We'll see like how crazy this year. Because here's the thing: last year was like the first year we were like leaving the pandemic.
That's right.
And
it was the fire
it was
hose
all-
of
yeah.
all the news that was all like stopped up for a while. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe this year wouldn't be as crazy. We'll see. But it's
Maybe.
exciting news. Like for a lot of the JRPGs, like this is the time that they're gonna bring like their A game, so to speak, right? So very exciting stuff. So what are some TGS predictions? Are we doing this now because it's the question of the week? But
Well, I might go ahead and make a couple predictions.
okay.
And then I think next week we'll do even more. But the first two that I have in mind is one's very obvious. Project. I'm sorry, it's no longer project. It's just Re Fantasio.
Mhm.
Isn't that what metaphor Re Fantasio? The
yes,
Atlas.
from Atlas. Yes.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna get some news about that.
Okay.
Probably like a lot of gameplay. I would hope for a lot. I also would expect us to see. Finally, I'm hoping for. Oh
Breath
God.
of Fire.
Yes.
Yes. No.
No.
Actually, I'm not actually guessing that. Oh, gosh.
It's only because Fluffy Dog is here. I just had to. I'm obligated. I'm on contract to bring up Breath of Fire.
That is true.
So I
is true.
did it.
So
it's for you, there, Fluffy Dogs.
I'm trying to remember what the other prediction I had was. In the mean, you go ahead. I'm trying to remember what mine was.
Sure. So for Square Enix, I'm actually expecting something from Saga. The Saga series. If they have this like small little time box for Saga, right?
Yeah.
They didn't say what it's for, so I can only imagine that may be the case. They're gonna tell us some old games, or not old games, some games that are coming out soon, like the DQ spin-off action RPG, The Adventure Dai.
Oh yeah.
Which I think the West has absolutely no idea what this thing is. But a lot of folks, like myself, growing up with that manga, it's like super stoked for because of all the nostalgia factors. I just cannot imagine them coming off a new Dai game in 2023. That's insane.
Yeah.
What? Who thought this was a good idea? I mean, I like it, but I'm also in a very niche group of people who actually grew up with this thing. So I have no idea who they're trying to market this towards. Maybe news for Final Fantasy 9, because they've talked about it animating
Yeah.
or remaster, remake, whatever. Just maybe. Question mark, who knows?
Yeah.
Definitely some things about Final Fantasy whatever now it is, because remake and reborn, reborn, rebirth, yes, that rebirth, yes, that probably something along that line. For Capcom, probably going to be
Monster
Resident
Hunter.
Evil, Monster Hunter. Definitely Exo Primo.
Now I don't want to go into too many predictions, but I have two more that I wanted to throw out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Square Enix expecting HD 2D Dragon Quest 3 updates.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's got to be there. They got to.
There.
And then also Final Fantasy Tactics remake. You know, it was included in the Nvidia link. Unless it's been canned. For some reason, I really think it would make a lot of sense for this to show up.
Now's the time. Now's the time.
I mean, this is the season. Like all of the the tactics RPGs are coming out soon. This is their opportunity. Are they going to be caught with some? Never. I mean, are they going to be caught with indies eating their lunch yet again? Probably. But that's my prediction that I wanted to kind of bring up right now, because I know a lot of people are really like, people still ask like, any news on Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D? Any news?
Right.
Like it's a weekly thing.
Yeah.
The answer is no. No news.
Yeah, no news. DQ3 all the time. Oh, you know what else I think we're gonna get some news on?
What's that?
Not one of the major companies, but I'm really expecting news on like Penny Blood.
Ooh.
Yeah, Penny Blood and
Armed Fantasia.
Armed Fantasia. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
really expecting stuff to come from those games. Things that we haven't really talked about in a while because there's no major news. Like it's just like, oh, we added a new character.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
there are
Skies of
two
Arcadia.
different color shades.
Remember that Skies of Arcadia? God, what was the? It's not a. It's a spiritual successor, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would that be a TGS or is that a Western dev? If so, they might not be
I mean, even if they're Western dev, like if there's there could be a chance for them to be a TGS, right?
there. Yeah,
Like, it's
they
not
might
excluded.
just be like an indie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
That's exciting stuff. We have a lot of good stuff that I can't wait to talk about. That's one of the best parts about TGS is that it kind of just acts also as just a reminder of all of the incredible things that are just around the corner.
Oh my God,
Eiyuden
yeah.
Chronicle has to have some kind of showing, even if they don't show anything new. They got to be there.
Yep, absolutely. I'm just gonna throw one more out there just
Yeah.
because so I didn't cover this today. Hold on one second. Yeah, I didn't cover this today, but there is a new thing from Platinum Games. There's a new thing from Platinum Games. I think it's called Project Gam, or it was Project Games. Hold on, it's driving me crazy because I had the link and then the link disappeared, so now I gotta find the link again so I can give you the information. So I didn't talk about this today because it's called Project Gam, Gamm, and they had just recently given it a full name as to what that is, and it's supposed to be like a new action title. It's called okay, there you go. GAM stands for Garnet Arena Mages of Magickery.
Interesting.
So I didn't really talk about it because they only gave like some screenshots and telling us exactly what GAM stands for, but nothing else. No trailer, no explanation on gameplay, just concept arts and etc. So obviously no details on release date, no details on what console, when is it going to come out on the West, nothing. Literally just those two pieces of information. Okay. So I do expect them to talk more about it. Wouldn't it make sense to talk more about it during TGS? Like here's a little teaser to the teaser, and
That's
then
fair,
during
yeah.
TGS, yeah. I think they'll talk more about it. So, sorry, this is not Platinum Games, Psy Games, not Platinum Games, Psy Games, yes, Psy Games. So we'll see what they come up with. It could be another. It could be another gacha game because Psy Games are known to make gacha games. But because they are releasing things like Grand Blue Fantasia, Fantasy Relink, Fantasia, there's a chance that this could just be a full-on console game. So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
All right. Well, that does it for the industry news and our predictions for now for TGS. I think we'll continue to make predictions as the show goes on into the rest of the month. We have all month to milk this thing.
You know it.
But we do have plenty of super chats that I think we should be responding to here.
Yes.
So we've got this one here starting us off with from Floppy Dogs, who says the real question is whether or not to double dip physically on Sea of Stars with the PlayAsia version and the Kickstarter version. Different release dates are tempting me. That's fair. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the PlayAsia. I don't know if there's going to be any real differences in the game itself. But I mean, if there was a game to double dip on, not to hype irresponsibly, but Sea of Stars would probably be it. One that you keep for yourself, and the other that you play and you open, one to keep sealed.
Is there Sea of Stars on Play Asia?
That's what Floppy Dog says, so I don't know.
I know that Sea of Stars. Oh, there's the multi-language version. I see it now. It's Japanese, but it's multi-language. I know that
Yeah.
they are releasing a physical copy for the West.
Yeah.
And that's we talked about it last show. We talked about it last show. Interesting. Yeah, we talked about it last show. It's from like I'm 8-bit, and
Yep.
I am really eyeing that one because I think that they will probably
There's probably
do.
gonna be some special stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know who's a sucker for those special editions? This guy. So that's the reason why I'm waiting for it. I personally wouldn't double dip just because I don't have that kind of cash.
Yeah.
But if I did, and I really want to support this kind of endeavor, just to stick it to the man,
just to get back at the man for not making this game first.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, Square Enix, this could have been your money, but.
Got a super chat here from Ants in My Trance, who says,
Hello.
A video discussing Japan's reaction to Sea of Stars mentioned that Japanese players criticized the color palette for looking poisonous.
Poisonous, really?
Maybe colors can make or break games in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
Poisonous? Huh. I did not hear this.
Sounds to me like Japan's just a little jealous. They're just mad they didn't make this game.
Just a little bit.
I mean, so
painful.
here's the thing: is some of the areas in Sea of Stars are probably supposed to feel poisonous and spoopy, and so it's all right. Different preferences, different strokes for different folks. But I wonder, is that a large scale response to this from Japanese players, or is that just like a few people here and there?
That's
the real. But I didn't realize that there was a video discussing Japan's reaction to Sea of Stars. I should check that out.
Is there a video that is referenced?
I mean, they mentioned it, but they didn't link it. They said a video discussing Japan's reaction to Sea of Stars mentioned that many Japanese players criticized the color palette. I don't know. That's interesting. Now, Floppy Dogs also has another one here. It says, Baku's first prize is this super chat. Baku is love. Baku is life. Congratulations, Baku. Checks in the mail.
I respect.
I
appreciate that.
I'll get one of those like giant like cardboard ones, and I'll hand it to you in person.
Thank you.
Next up, Fluppy says, which retro system would you recommend people get games on now? PlayStation 1, like Arc the Lad, Suikoden 2, PS2, Wild Arms, Xenogears Episode 3, PSP, 3DS. Have any of these plateaued, in your opinion, on price? No. The plateau has... Well, I think that we've hit a plateau. I think that part of what happened was during lockdown and pandemic, people needed stuff to kind of fill their time, and so they didn't like go do things. Instead, they acquired things to enjoy in their homes because they were locked in. And I think that kind of, you could see when like the beginning of 2020, when that kicked in, prices on like across the board just like spiked. And I think that they're rebounding a little bit from that spike, but I think that the overall trajectory is still, number goes up. So I don't think that I don't think anybody's plateaued per se at this point. But if I was going to recommend people to start buying games within any system, it would probably be PlayStation 3. Yeah, PlayStation 3 is probably about the cheapest it's going to be. Same with probably Xbox 360. Probably, I think the Wii is already starting to go up a little bit, but Wii U, if you can still get your hands on, I mean, those games are going to get a little bit more pricey soon. The trick is to start collecting the games that you want before they become expensive and trendy.
Collectibles.
Exactly. The moment they
Yeah.
become collectibles, the moment you have to start spending more than like 10 or 15 bucks on a game, it's like yeah, probably you missed the boat.
Can I share something really fun that I heard about investments since we're talking about this kind of stuff?
Oh, sure.
This is kind of funny, but also like it'll make you think a little bit. See, the fundamental rule to investment,
Mhm.
okay, and this is something that anyone will tell you, any investment guru will tell you. This
Buy
is just
high, sell
true.
never.
Well, buy high, sell low, right? That's what they say anyways. That's what they say anyways, right?
They
Buy
say
high,
the opposite.
sell low.
They say
Yeah.
the opposite is to buy low,
Buy
sell
high,
high.
not buy low, sell high. Sorry, yeah, no, buy low, sell high. No, and here's the thing, right? But it's so simple. Everyone knows that, and yet none of us are super wealthy, right? And there's a reason for that, right?
Yeah.
Because buying low and selling high goes against every bit of our human intuition.
Mm-hmm.
When is something low? Low is when no one wants it. So it means you have to buy things when no one wants it and then sell it when everyone else wants it.
Yeah.
Those goes against like everything about people.
Mhm.
You're never gonna buy things that no one wants and then sell something when everyone wants it, right? So it goes to the same thing with these game collections, right?
Yep.
So if you want to be in on it, you got to be in on it before people wanted the thing.
Yep.
There you go.
So-
and by the time that you're part of everyone who wants it, you're just gonna have to pay that cost for someone who's letting it go, selling high.
That's one of those things that I like to do is when a console generation is nearing its end, or rather after a generation has ended, and like GameStop and other shops like that are about to discontinue carrying them, and they start selling them like, buy two get three free.
That might be a good time.
That's a pretty good time that's a pretty good indicator that the games are probably not going to be much cheaper than that.
Mhm.
Because after that, when they're no longer proliferating the secondhand market as easily in brick and mortar, then people are like, oh, now this is harder to find. Now it's premium. So
Hey, by the way, I
Yeah.
want to respond really quickly to Ants in My Trance about Sea of Stars Japanese reviews. So I'm actually reading. It's hard for me to find like an aggregate thing, so I went to the Steam review and just read all the Japanese reviews. And it's like overwhelmingly positive. I'm reading some of the bad things, and I don't see anything mentioning colors. I see one that talks about like the translation is kind of weird, and I can see why because the script was written in English.
Japanese players probably aren't super used to playing localizations from English into Japanese.
welcome to the welcome to the
Western experience.
Welcome to the experience. I mean, I'm looking at a bunch of reviews, and there's this one review that I thought was kind of cool. It says Japanese people has probably already forgotten how to make a game like this in Japanese.
They said, I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Japanese people have probably already forgotten how to make a game like this, and this is a positive review.
Wow.
18.7 hours in 2 weeks. This is a just amazing story, beautiful beautiful pixel arts, easy to understand, but also very strategic command battle. They're just talking about like all the things they like about the game, but this is the first line that grabbed my attention. Japanese people have probably already forgotten how to make this a game like this. It's so sad to hear. Square Enix.
And I think
blame them.
I think you're right. I mean, Square Enix, it's easy for me to like pin this on them because it's like this is what they used to make back in the day, and they never made one since Super Nintendo. They did Chrono Trigger, and then they're like, well, that was a pretty good run. Let's start making different kinds of games now, completely wildly different.
I'll post that comment in chat for anyone who wants to run that through a translator. But yeah,
cool.
that's the thing that I was reading earlier. But yeah, I didn't see anything on color. Not to say that no one did say it, but I just couldn't find it in the short time we
It
have
doesn't
right now.
seem to be like the overwhelming sentiment or anything, though.
I mean, at least it's not big enough that like I figure if it's that much of a deal, you'd at least see 1 or 2 comments on Steam review, but I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Like I said, not to say that, no one feels that way, but I'm just not seeing it right now. So I'll look again later when I have more time.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Module Cell left us a super chat here. It says, when do you think that Final Fantasy 16 will release on PC? Exactly 6 months after the PS5 release? That would place the release window in late December 2023, just before Persona 3 Reload, but porting a AAA game will take a long time.
Yeah, so it used to take a lot longer, right? We've talked about it. In the PS3 era, it's like insanely difficult to port games because of the architecture. During the PS4 era, a lot the basically PS4 from PS3 to PS3, PS4 basically become like a super weak, super dedicated PC. Like the architecture inside is basically a PC. It runs on an AMD chip, right? So yeah, and PS5 same thing, right? So they continue that tradition, right? And so the time that it takes for them to port a game to PC truly is
they have the
mostly
resources
spent on. Well, they have the resources, but it's truly mostly spent on optimization
and QA, probably.
Yeah,
ensuring that
all that.
ensuring that the tools that they used, function properly, and fixing the things that broke in translation, things like that.
We've covered it before in our previous show, coming from a dev talking about why it's so difficult to port games to PC is because and it's simple, when they make a game for PS5, they have one set of specs to deal with. When they port a game to PC, all of a sudden it's like every
the
person's
permutations.
PCs are different. They have to set a minimal, right? And then they have to set like a recommended. But anything beyond that is just like, oh, you have an RTX 4090 from which maker? Is it overclocked? Not overclocked. Okay, 4090. Oh, you got a 4080 over there, 4070. Oh, you got a Radeon. Okay. Oh, you've got an Intel card. Okay, that's interesting. What processor are you running? Right? What's the combo? What's the RAM? Like, did you overclock? Not overclock? Like, all these things they have to take into consideration of and make sure the game doesn't break under any of these circumstances, or else they get bad reviews and they get review bombed. Oh, the game! You have all these time and resources, you couldn't get the port right. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving pieces. Now, Flippy also said, Baku, you're my favorite Baku. Twitch after the show? After the show?
No Twitch after the show. I need to plan my trip to Japan still, so I gotta do some research.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see. Massive Rakan says, I double dip to support you guys. Why not? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for double dipping.
Always appreciated.
Always appreciated.
And then we got another question. What are some of your favorite smaller publishers?
Smaller publishers.
Yeah.
Serenity Forge, do they count?
Yeah, sure. Red Art Games, I think they count. I mean, the only one thing that I've really done from Red Art, though, is probably... Oh, man, did they... Oh, they did Arietta of Spirits, and they did Aiden Chronicle 100 Heroes. Or no, not 100 Heroes. Rising. That was good. Yeah, I mean, and when... Like, how big is smaller? Because, like, Xseed is a smaller publisher. Nisa is a smaller publisher.
Yeah.
Nisa is one of my favorites because they localize a lot of Trails games right now that I'm very happy with. So
Nisa's great. Yeah. Not even just Trails, just like all of Falcom stuff, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
I think Konami publishes Nissan games in Japan.
Yeah.
But strictly as a publisher, not as an IP owner. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's very bizarre.
Yeah. I know that Something Classic also does some publishing for games developed by other indies.
Hmm.
So I'd say they're a really small publisher, and I like them a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this for instance, something classic is amazing. Check out their games.
Yeah,
It's some
absolutely.
really good games.
Megas427 says that Yoshira said that they would announce more information about the PC version and Final Fantasy 16 DLC before the end of the year. Uh,
Hmm.
it is not coming out this year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
If they're simply giving you more information by the end of the year, then it's probably can be inferred that it won't come out by the end of the year.
Yeah, it's a safe bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't put it past them
early.
though, also to be like, yeah, we'll give you more information, before the end of the year because it comes out at the end of the year. Like, you know, Yoshida, I wouldn't put it past him to use little wordplay like that.
So Final Fantasy wow, I cannot talk. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth is coming out Q1 of 2024, provided they don't delay it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they would want to do the PC version like right at the end of the year.
Yeah.
That seems like it would be. I mean, okay, Square Enix, they will cannibalize themselves, but not against two Final Fantasy games. That would be stupid even for them.
Yeah.
So,
But
I
is
don't
it
know.
really competing with themselves if it's just the
Mhm.
PC version though?
I don't know. Depends on what their release looks like for Rebirth. If it's going to be another PS5 time exclusive, then no, because it'll be PC versus PS5, different platform. On the other hand, if it's all platform release on Rebirth, then yes, they would cannibalize themselves. So
Yeah.
with two Final Fantasy titles back
Yeah.
to back, I don't know if they are dumb enough to do that, but I wouldn't put anything past Square Enix. So here we are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I do believe that it is about time we wrap up today's show. It's been a really fun one though.
Yeah.
I didn't really have anything to throw into the title, any special thumbnail or anything for the show, but we still had a good showing. Thank you all for showing up.
Should have added anime girls. We
I
would have
had
triple the amount of viewers. You added anime girls.
we'll try that
but
next
the ones,
week.
no, the ones who are here today with us are the real ones. So thank you so much. You guys weren't lured in by pretty anime girls. You were lured in by me and Derek, which
Hey, it means a lot.
questionable, but
We
questionable
appreciate it.
aesthetics. But we appreciate you. Yes.
Yeah. Well, guys, I hope you all had a great time, and we'll see you next weekend. Next weekend, right?
Next
Probably.
weekend.
Yeah,
Probably.
because we do
Sunday.
the show live every single Sunday, except for the ones we don't. So until next time, have a great night, everybody.
Bennett.